Hey guys, something I recommend to a lot of entrepreneurs and founders, and I'm going to tell you a story about how this works for us. If you've ever been in our educational sessions, you know that we talk a lot about this when you're building a retail brand, when you are an entrepreneur and you're trying to share a product. And what happens along the way is sometimes when you are singularly focused on building and being an entrepreneur and building something cool, is you forget that the language you use is specific to you, or that you're explaining in a way that you understand it, but that nobody else understands it around you. Okay? How do you know this is happening? Usually you need to start looking around and asking yourself if you get, one of these three or all three of these things, right? So, one, does it take me more than 30 seconds to explain my business? If it does, you probably don't have the pitch down, or there are a lot of kind of like wildcard pieces, or there are pieces that people don't understand. Okay. Two, do I get confused looks when I explain it? And so sometimes at the beginning of your process, that is humorous because we know it. Sometimes new ideas, they take a little bit of time. People need to learn what they are, but you shouldn't get confused looks over and over and over and over again. Okay. Third, do I get the same questions over and over again? So if I explain it, does it generate the same sets of questions over and over again? If you get any of these three, or usually all three of these in combination, it tells you that the way you explain the business makes sense to you, but not to everyone else around you. And that is something that you have to pay attention to. Now, here's the thing. Nobody's immune to this. So you could be a fractional CMO. You could be a fractional COO like Kenny. You could be the builder. You could have a ginormous brand. Nobody's immune to this. It happens to everybody. You need to be vigilant for it. Those three factors, they will happen over and over again because consumers, they have a lot to think about. They have a lot to digest. And so when that happens, what you actually need is someone outside of your business. So someone who doesn't work on your business, not your mom, not your dad, not someone who really understands you or gets you, your best friend. You need someone outside the business to tell you how to say it different, how to explain it different, or that you're doing something that you actually have evolved the product into something that you think you're doing, but you're no longer doing. And so all of those things are things that you actually need to be vigilant for. You probably need to bring somebody else. Now, the story I promised you. Kenny and I do this exercise on the podcast every 6 months or so. We look at it, we review language, we try and make sure that we're explaining ourselves clearly. This time, Kenny and I were talking about it, and we realized we're starting to get all three of the warning signs because people get confused about who we are. That we're not just a podcast, that we're actually educators, that we teach retail education. So we started to get the warning signs, so we needed a different look at who we are. So what did we do? We hired a marketer to look at our business from the outside looking in. Not someone who understands it super well, but someone who knows what we do and how we do it, but also someone who's outside the business so they can tell us what we're projecting into the world. I don't know if we like the results. Now, let me clarify. That isn't that I don't love what the marketer did for us. They did a great job. We liked what he brought us. What we didn't like was what we were doing to ourselves. Okay, so we got focused on parts of the business. We aren't talking about all parts of our business, and that causes people around us to go, I don't know how I can work with them. I don't quite know how to partner with them, and so we liked what he brought because he brought us accurate results. We just didn't like that we had worked ourselves in a corner. So there's more to come on this. You're going to see the way we change, the way we talk, but I really wanted you to understand this process and give you a real world view of what we are trying to do. And then this is definitely a do what we do and not a do what we say and not what we do. I'm practicing what we preach. I hired someone outside because I needed someone to look at our stuff. They brought us some very, very valid insights. that require us to change the language of how we talk about what we do. So there's more to come on this. If you're experiencing any of those three signs, it might be time for you to get fresh eyes in your business. Come talk to us if you want. We can help you with that. We can also help you with what that kind of help looks like so it doesn't cost you through the nose, all those sort of things. All right, more to come. Thanks. Talk to you soon.